One of the questions that I get asked the most by students after watching the film is, when was the moment that I knew it was time to leave? In all the work that we did at Life After Hate, helping hundreds of people leave hate groups behind, two themes stand out the most. And the first is the birth of a child. The second is receiving compassion when we feel we deserve it least. In my case, it's both. When my daughter was born and my son 15 months later, for the first time, I realized I'm not the center of the universe. And I was able to see how my destructive behaviors were negatively affecting and harming them. It was the first time I experienced compassion and taking action to alleviate the suffering of another, and that was my children. The second one was with my counselor, Dov Barron, friend, coach, mentor. And as I'm sitting across from him in my very first counseling session, and I'm feeling at my lowest, having just revealed to him that I'd been a neo-Nazi, a white supremacist, and a skinhead, he leaned in and revealed to me that he was Jewish. And in that moment, he cared for me, he loved me, wanted to help me and heal me, knowing that I had advocated for the annihilation of him and his people. And I'm sitting, leaning back in my chair, flushed with shame. But he still loved me. And that was an incredibly powerful experience. And he said to me, those things are what you did. They're not who you are. One of the most powerful letters we received at Life After Hate was from a mother of an 18-year-old son who was neurodivergent, very bright kid, but socially awkward. And she was really concerned because he was spending 5-6 hours a night online, and he'd found this community of white nationalists, or should I say, that community of white nationalists found him. She said, what terrifies me most about that community of white nationalists is they've embraced and accepted my son in a way that no one has in his entire life. When he was in grade 7, he invited his entire class to his 12th birthday party, and not one kid showed up. Can you imagine the loneliness, the despair, the isolation that child was feeling? It's those things that create the vulnerabilities that white nationalist groups learn to exploit and entice. One of the important reasons why we bring this film into schools is because we found that between the ages of 13 and 16, it's the most important time for the search for identity. When I was at that age, I didn't feel I fit in anywhere. I felt I didn't belong, that I was flawed, there was something wrong with me. And that's when I found the community with skinheads. I found a community with other kids who also didn't fit in and didn't belong. And with that community, I got a sense of acceptance when I felt unlovable. I got attention when I felt invisible. And I got power when I felt totally weak. Every human being goes through this phase where we're searching for a sense of identity, where we belong in this world, and that we don't fit in, and that we're flawed. Every human being goes through that. What we've done doesn't have to define us as who we are. And there's always time to change the path.